I used to be pretty skeptical of e-bikes. I didn't want to have one for myself. I wanted to have a regular bike. I'm going to get more exercise, and who needs it? It costs a lot of money. Then you got to charge the battery, and then you got to worry about it getting stolen, and you got to blah blah blah. And don't they start on fire, and don't more people get injured on e-bikes? All these reasons help me justify my purity of the regular bike. But then something happened. I had to return a rental car. I rented a car to travel to Indianapolis for that video I did with John Green, because we only have one car and a daughter who needs to go to school and a wife who needs to, live her life. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but, sometimes rhymes are fun. So I had to return my vehicle, but China couldn't pick me up. So I decided to walk home, and it was kind of a long walk. And on the way, I passed one of those city bike hubs. We have a system here in the Madison area called B-Cycle. You can rent electric bicycles. And I had never done it, but it was getting late, and I was getting bored. So I was like, what if I run one of those bikes? So I did. And on the way home, here's what happened. I fell in love with it. Almost immediately. It suddenly hit me like a ton of bricks, and it should have been obvious, and probably everyone already assumes this, but I started to see the e-bike as not a replacement for the regular bike, but a replacement for the car. This obviously probably only applies if you live in a city where everything you need is not that far away. But it opened my eyes. I probably sang, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone, something like that. And since then, I've been renting e-bikes almost exclusively when I need to go somewhere within our city. Except now that it's December, it's really cold, and I'm not really feeling like doing that so much anymore. But when the weather is more agreeable, actually even when it is cold, I have been doing it, but not like really, really windy and cold like it has been the past few days. But when the weather is agreeable, which is most of the time, I've been taking e-bikes and loving it so much. I had to add the so much so it didn't sound like I was doing the McDonald's motto. So over the past few weeks, I've biked almost daily to places like a half hour, 45 minutes away sometimes. And I guarantee you, if it wasn't for these e-bikes, I would have driven. Sorry. I came back an hour and a half later and added in this clip just so that you know that I'm not an idiot. Or that I'm aware that I'm an idiot. Every time. I wouldn't have biked at all. I wouldn't have biked on my regular bike. I know people say e-bikes are cheating. It is not cheating. You're getting your heart rate up. You are getting exercise. Studies have shown that it is good exercise. Studies have also shown that e-bikes are causing a lot more people to actually bike rather than doing nothing. So, I think it is a net positive. I've also gone to Chicago a few times, and they have the Divvy bike system, which is amazing. They're all over the place. You can go anywhere in the city just by bike. You can go regular bike or electric bike. I realize I'm just talking about renting bikes right now. And to me, that should be everywhere. I love it so much with proper infrastructure and a population of people who know what they're doing. But I also borrowed my parents' e-bike, and so I had it at home, and I was just biking to and from places. And now I'm probably going to buy one instead of just keep renting them. One that I'm looking at is the Rad Runner 3 because it looks like it's pretty hefty and you can carry stuff. My daughter could ride on the back of it. I can get groceries with it. It just seems like a super convenient one. And I feel like from this point on, any opportunity, I'm going to take the e-bike over the car. I don't like driving, and I will be getting exercise, and it feels good. It just feels really good. It puts me in a good mood every time I do it. I also enjoy regular biking, but it's not as comfortable. You gotta try harder. There's just more of an obstacle in my mind every time I think about regular biking. It takes a little more effort, especially on hills. We have a hilly neighborhood. And then if I arrive at a place, I'm probably going to be all sweaty. I will still regular bike, but it'll be more intentional. The e-bike is more like, I'm just going to go somewhere, thinking about it more like a car. As far as safety goes, from what I've found, there have been a few rare incidences of the battery catching fire. Super rare. It seems like that's just, as time goes on and technology gets better, that's just going to happen less and less. There's not a lot of infrastructure there, so most of the problems with it comes from when the cars and bikes interact with each other. They are more dangerous than regular bikes. You go faster. A lot of people aren't prepared for that, or they're not wearing the proper gear, or paying attention, or following the rules. But you know who else does that? Drivers. You know who else does that? People who make our infrastructure. They're not doing it as good as they could for bikers. That's what I'm trying to say. Statistically, if you look at miles driven per accident, cars are way higher. But also, it's pretty complicated. The reasons why you're biking, how the infrastructure is set up. Typically, e-bikes are ridden by older people. I think it's too complicated and situational to draw a broad conclusion about this is safer, this is more dangerous. I think it's up to the individual. And this individual loves them and is going to keep going. I assume I'm getting B-roll of me biking while I'm talking right now. It's a shame I decided to do this in December. So, cold outside. There's also many different kinds of e-bikes and different reasons to have them. You got the commuter e-bikes, which are like the rental bikes that I've been using. You got road e-bikes, which are more lightweight and made for longer distances. Folding e-bikes, which seem pretty cool if you're traveling. I actually met a guy, when I lived in Austin, I went to a coffee shop and Radiohead was in town for Austin City Limits Festival. And I met a guy who was a stagehand for Radiohead. He showed me his folding bike. And he said every city he goes to, he just would bike around and explore the city when he wasn't working at the show for Radiohead. What a life. Wow. Cargo e-bikes, which are bigger and made for carrying a bunch of stuff. Mountain e-bikes, if you want to get your mountain on. So all of this complicates the whole thing about why you would want an e-bike and what your experience would be. I'm just saying, for me, in the city, every time there's an opportunity, I'm going to hop on my e-bike instead of taking in a car. And if I want to get more exercise, I'll just get a regular bike. But after going on an e-bike and then going on a regular bike, it does kind of feel like you're biking through pudding, which might be a problem. Luckily, I'm not that big of a biker to begin with. So anyway, that's my point. To me, e-bikes are not cheating by not doing regular bikes. E-bikes are a replacement for cars in the right situations. After e-biking a lot, sometimes I get tired, and you'd think that would help me sleep. But I'm still a terrible sleeper. But one thing that helps is the sponsor of this video, Beam, and they make a hot cocoa that helps me sleep called Dream. It's delicious, it works, and they currently have an extended Cyber Monday sale going on. That's like a regular Cyber Monday, but longer. It's the only time you can get Dream up to 50% off, their lowest price ever, and it's for a limited time, as we all are. So don't waste your limited time by missing this limited time and filling your life with sleepless nights, because here's the thing. I had a speech prepared, but I'm just gonna be real with you. They keep sponsoring me because I love it, and it's delicious. I have it nearly every night. See, here's me preparing it right now and talking to you with the words I'm saying right now. My lips start to move weird as I get closer to bedtime. Traditionally, I'm a terrible sleeper, as many of you know, but this helps me get real sleepy at a decent sleep time, so I end up going to bed early rather than burning the midnight oil. Wow, so much arson that I do at night. But my life is better because I go to bed early. Currently using the cinnamon cocoa flavor, but there are lots of flavors for all you picky flavor people. And they got all these nice calming ingredients: apigenin, reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, melatonin. And you can get a CBD version, which stands for Craig Benzine Don't, because I don't do the CBD version. And there was a clinical study in which 93% of participants said Dream helped them get a more restful night's sleep and wake up feeling more refreshed. So last time to shop up to 50% off Beam's extended cyber sale. And you click the link below or scan the QR code and use the code Wheezy at checkout. So this is an offer you don't want to wait on. Sleep on, that was what I meant to say. Would have been funnier. I mean, wait on kind of works because I'm WheezyWaiter, but it's harder to get that joke, I think, if you don't know my channel. Anyway, thank you for watching. Previous video, China and I did the Hot Ones Challenge. If you want to check that out. I have a Patreon. I do monthly live streams every single month. Well, that's how you define monthly. If you want to support me over there. And if you like this video, give it an E-like. You probably don't want to now. I understand.